A scheming woman plotted to get rid of her wealthy husband. She convinced him to jump into a river known to have shark. Watching as he failed to surface, Lisa thought she could finally inherit his fortune worth hundreds of millions. But just as she was grinning from ear to ear, the old man emerged, laughing and unharmed. It turned out he was just playing a prank on her. However, Lisa wasn't one to give up easily. She then told the millionaire, "If you really love me, jump off that cliff ahead." Without hesitation, the man climbed up the 10-meter high cliff and dived straight down. This time, things went exactly as Lisa had planned. The millionaire disappeared into the water and never came back up. Feeling triumphant, Lisa began to celebrate. But her joy lasted only a few minutes before panic set in. She realized she didn't know how to drive the speedboat. Looking around, there wasn't a soul in sight. Desperate, she took out her phone to call for help, only to find there was no signal. To save herself, Lisa began shouting for help, hoping someone nearby might hear her. But this was the wilderness. There was no one around. Left with no choice, she curled up and started crying. However, crying wouldn't solve her problem, especially since the speedboat was now drifting downstream. With no other option, Lisa tried to drive the boat herself. Her clumsy efforts sent the boat spinning in circles. Fearing it would crash into the rocks, she hurriedly pulled out the boat key. In her panic, the key slipped from her hand and fell into the river. Luckily, the boat stopped spinning, but it wasn't long before Lisa realized another danger. The boat was drifting toward a waterfall. To avoid a fatal fall, she rushed to the back of the boat to gather her belongings. But just as she prepared to jump into the water, she remembered she didn't know how to swim. At that moment, she spotted a life buoy on the boat. She quickly threw it into the water, only to realize too late that she didn't know how to use it properly. By now, the boat was nearing the edge of the waterfall. With no other choice, Lisa ducked into the cabin, praying for a miracle. The next second, the boat plunged down the waterfall and drifted further downstream. Fortunately, Lisa survived and eventually floated to the riverbank. Seeing that her phone still had battery, she tried calling for help again, but there was still no signal. Frustrated, Lisa opened a bottle of red wine and took a drink. She even treated herself to a seaweed face mask. After a brief rest, Lisa realized she couldn't stay there forever or she'd starve. She applied some makeup and decided to venture into the forest for survival. After only a few steps, she noticed animal tracks on the ground. When she looked up, she was stunned. A bear was drinking water just ahead of her. Terrified, Lisa froze, not daring to breathe.